Welcome, everyone, to a special live edition of Global Comic Safari. John Z here with Define 999. Matt here as always. Excited to try a live show. We haven't done one of these in a while, and I think this is our first actual nighttime live show. So all of you that have not been with us live, welcome.
Welcome, guys. Welcome.
Want to start out and thank, as always, our friends at Comic Book Invest, CBSI. Best free source for comic book information, investing ideas, general just cool info, free content every day, including the home of the original Hot 10 list. Also want to thank our friends at Comic Barricade, your best system to support, stabilize, and control your collection. They are about to launch the XL, which will fit magazine size boxes as well as slab boxes. So for us foreign hunters with books of every single size, this is a game changer. So that helps you organize and keeps those little ones from falling around. Definitely check them out. If you use CBSI Tails, you get a 10% discount.
Ooh, I like that. I like free. I like discounts. I like it all. But the magazine makes sense for us because, you know, we have plenty of oversized foreigns, but, you know, we tend to not have quite as many. So having partial magazine boxes, what I've been doing is, you know, that whole little trick where you put them in the, you know,
sideways,
and, you know, it's all bullshit. That's cool that they have the larger size. That's really neat.
Yeah, it's nice. It's trust me, I use it on my eBay box and on the foreign boxes just because they're always changing. Welcome, a couple guys. I see Diaz family, Dennis Hayes, and Comic Garage. Good to have you.
Welcome, guys. Albuquerque, bro.
Yeah. So we are gonna cover a cool one tonight. It is the Ghost Rider 1 from Marvel, the original #1 issue. But as always, this is a team project. We had some helpers on this one, so I just want to kind of thank them for contributing and helping us do a little research because no way Matt and I could do all this on our own.
No, it's impossible. You know, the foreign stuff, our brains are only so big. Our noodles can only hold so much pasta sauce. And without the help from our friends, we can't do it. So, gotta thank these guys. Bjorn Elkoff, Cecilio Gonzalez, Nadim Suleiman, Morton F. Thompson, and Morton Likengard. And Morton Likengard really saved my bacon on this one because he gave me some fascinating Danish.
Well, you made somebody translate a whole book for you a minute ago.
Well, it was like I found this cool thing, and yeah, this was stuff on the Danish books that I had never heard before. So I was like, whoa, shit, this is cool. So yeah.
Looking forward to it. So thank you all, you guys, for helping. We appreciate it, and we're gonna get on with the set here. So the original book, Ghost Rider 1. Shelf date of September 73. We all know it came out a little before then because that's the pull date. But Ghost Rider 1, first solo title of the issue, kind of the horror 70s horror kind of revival was in full swing. Our hero was created in Marvel Spotlight 5 and had about a 6-issue run over there before jumping into his own title. Fantastic cover. Honestly, very reminiscent of his first appearance cover, but just slightly different, but a great, you know, wheelie pose, just amazing. A tough kind of book to find because in higher grade because of the black and all of that stuff on the cover. So, you know, it was an interesting time because we're getting out of the 50s horror kind of anti-obscenity stuff from the code. It was loosening up a little bit because they had the magazines for a while, and Marvel kind of cut it loose with their horror genre. Wasn't the most popular decision with the parents and all of that, but you know, the actual comic collectors of the day ate it up. This ran for 81 issues, which is a pretty good run back then.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised by that when I saw that. I don't know why in my mind I thought this was like, you know, just like Son of Satan or one of the shorter runs, but yeah, 81 issues. It had to have been selling and it had to have been popular.
Yeah, a lot of those other horror titles didn't make it past, you know, the first year or two. This made a big long run. and many revivals of the character or different versions of character. So huge book, and just cool set. We chose this over the Marvel Spotlight 5 because there's a few more editions. So, we didn't want to just do a couple, which there were not a lot of that one. So a couple quick facts on the U.S. Census. Oh, hell, I was 2719. So 2,719 in the census. 3798, believe it or not.
That's kind of surprising to me with this dark black cover.
I was surprised as well. Almost 109 sixes. A 9.8 will run you 3,700, and a 9.6 will be about 1,750. You can get yourself a nice copy in the 100 to maybe 200 range. If you're just looking for a nice clean copy.
Yeah.
So it's not a book that is out of the realm of purchasing.
Yeah, it's reasonable.
So you ready to show them the goods?
Yeah. Let's show them the goods.
Let's show them the goods and then jump to 1A. This is a confusing one, I know.
Yeah.
So here's your set pick. What I take away right away, other than the size variation, is that the cover, the classic pose is the same, but almost every country had their own kind of rendition of the coloring and the lettering and everything. I mean, when you look at this is a very unique set in that way.
Oh, yeah. It's small. Or like I like to say, it's small but powerful. Why? Because novelty and differentiation kind of fuel the set builder. We don't want to see sets that have books that all pretty much look the same. I want them to be different. I want them to have personality of all their own, This is one of the most kind of just everything went its own way ones that I've seen. Sometimes there's at least a couple that look similar to each other. Yeah.
No, really not here. So.
Yeah, it's almost like the publishers just kind of had the freedom to do what they wanted with it.
Oh, and some of them really are knockouts. And the ones that don't look like knockouts now, you may change your mind once we talk about them.
Yeah, you're always saying, why are we doing these shows? Because you're just making me buy more books. Well, foreigns are freaking rad. What can I say, man?
I haven't bought any. Well, that's a lie. I have some of them, but I may buy more. All right. So on to the first book, which is a bit of a cousin. So we'll just hit it. The Pence copy. Printed same time, shelf date of September 73. The only difference is the price in the box. Just a little bit of fun fact for you, because I did the census. If you recall the census of the U.S. version, 2,700 and change, with 3798. Pence, 29 in the census.
Oh,
about 1%.
Well, that kind of tracks, dude, because from what we know of the Pence, no one knows for sure, but we think that the print runs were about 10% of the American original. So, if the American original was 100,000 copies, then they did about 10,000,
and they weren't really well respected.
No, not really. And the other problem with the Pences is, and this is what I've been told, I don't know how true this is, but many of the UK collectors do talk about it. It is rumored that month's Pence copies would be sent on boats that would then go over to the UK. Now, how long do you think it takes to get across the Pacific on a boat, John? Takes a little while.
A couple weeks, a month.
Couple weeks, month. So these books, even though they were priced, even though they might say on the cover have a cover date, they were always late. They were always late, and they weren't consistent. And one of the reasons they think there was some consistency problems is, they might show up late, or they might get stuck on the dock, or they might, there was all kinds of issues, because the rumor is that a lot of publications at the time that were being kind of exported to the UK were used as ship ballast on the cargo ships. So that's one of the things they moved around as ballast was all the paper and all the magazines and all the extra crap that was getting sent over there. So yeah, I mean, it looks the same, but I build this set. I don't have a pence yet. I'm considering picking a decent mid grade up maybe this Christmas if I can find a decent one. But they're pretty cool.
Yeah, they're gaining traction. They used to be probably you pay about 30% of the U.S. version. I've seen recent sales on bigger keys of equal to the top of the U.S. and even a tad higher for the right book. So very cool. The highest graded one, it's a lone 9.4.
Ooh.
After that, I think it was you jumped down to what's that number? I didn't write it down, but it was like under an 8. So not a lot in there.
It was like an 8 or a 7.5 or something?
Something in that range. I didn't jot it down, but it was a pretty significant jump. So there's not a lot of these. Yeah. So cool book to kind of get. It's going to be a tough one if you want a really pretty one, but you can find them. It's not going to cost you a fortune, I assume. Like we said, it'll probably cost you about the same as the U.S., give or take a few percent.
It might just take you a little while.
Correct. They don't come up every day, but you can find them.
Yeah. eBay UK.
Yes. All right. So jumping to our first unique foreign. Our friends over in Italy.
Oh, yes. Yes. Okay, so this is the Devil Ghost Iron Man, issue 113, published by Cornell on September of 1974. So that, what is it? What was the original? 73, right?
It was a year later.
So about a year later. Interiors are full, glorious color and contain Ghost Rider 1, Iron Man 23, and Iron Man 24. Now,
so no Daredevil? Even though it's his title?
No Daredevil. Nope.
Well, you've talked about the Cornos
Devil
before being
Ghost Iron
gorgeous
Man.
too.
Yes. And I talk a little bit about this. Okay, so this series started out in May of 1970 with the classic Daredevil 1. It continued to be published until 126, so that was pretty long. But when issue 105 hit, the Italian pub changed the title from L'Incredibile Devil into Devil Ghost Iron Man, right? So I think at that issue 105, they just wanted to throw in other stories, right? So they would sometimes remove our devil head guy and fill it with other stuff.
Hey, as long as it's one of the three, we're cool.
Yeah, and so in this issue, you get Ghost Rider 1, Iron Man 23, and Iron Man 24. So, the Italian pub did some weird stuff like that, the way they packaged the books. Okay.
At least you got issue 1 cover with issue 1 insides, because that doesn't always happen.
Yes, and the 105. So I said that when the 105 hit, it turned into this different title, Devil Ghost Iron Man. Now, the 105 presented the classic Marvel Spotlight 5. So that was the first appearance of Ghost Rider. So the editors at Cornell must have known that Old Flamehead was something special, I think. Now, we talk about Italian Cornos all the time, right, John?
Oh, absolutely.
And, it's like the publisher Corno, I'm going to break some news here to some American collectors. Maybe this is going to hurt your feelings a little bit. But Corno did the Bronze Age better than Marvel or DC. They did it better. The books that the Italians produced are some of the nicest books that you find during the Bronze Age of comics. Better paper quality, better print quality, more stories for the money, extras like posters, stickers, medallions, you name it. The Italian Corno Marvels are like the sports car of comic books. Would you agree, John?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have many, but the ones I've seen are beautiful. It's like, I mean, you're looking at paper stock more like the 90s independent or 90s like Image stuff where they up the game.
Yeah, it's totally upped. I mean, they're just beautiful books. And we can talk about them until we're blue in the face, but until you actually own one and have an Italian Corno in your hand, especially if you have one that has the goodies with it, you're like, holy shit. What were they doing in America? We were getting ripped off because they're just awesome. You know, the posters, the stickers. I think I've talked about the Spider-Man 50 being an amazing Cornell book because they had actually shipped with a medallion on the cover. It was glued to the cover, a medal that you could put, you know, that kids could wear. It was like a soccer medallion. They just did all kinds of really neat stuff. Cornos are rad. Oh,
This is the joys of live. Solo Wookie, welcome. Robert Fordham, welcome. Guy Sparkman, Jorge Lopez. Thanks,
what's up, guys?
Feel free to chime in. We'll answer questions if you got a good one, or put a funny comment like our friend Solo Wookie, our tech advisor.
Or Comic Garage. What is this? Wait, is Matt actually on time? Am I not on time? I guess so. Yeah. Well, you know, I live in New Mexico, and we're the land of mañana. Our buddy that lives in Albuquerque can tell you all about that. Diaz family. But yeah, what do you think of their changes here, John?
The title line's a lot. I don't, you know, It doesn't read well, but it looks gorgeous. I mean, they got the yellow, the red, the blue. It just, let's throw it all at you at once.
Yeah.
You know, you've got the red going around what was already kind of the red kind of explosion-like background. So when you just take it all in at once, it pops.
Yeah, it does pop. And it almost has like a brighter, go to the American original real quick. Let's compare the two.
I'll go to the pence. It's closer.
Yeah. You know, because the American's got so much black on it.
Yes.
And it's like, I don't know, that Italian just kind of screams at your eyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a cool one. And it's almost even like got like purple in the background.
Yeah, it's definitely brightened up a bit. I think it actually zooms out a tad bit on the image too.
Oh yeah, it might. Yep, it sure does.
It's kind of
I hadn't realized
zoomed it in more, I guess, is what you say.
Yeah.
So, beautiful book.
Yep.
All right. Cornos, not pornos. Well, we like those.
Cornos, not pornos.
All right. So moving on to the next one. Equally, lots of interesting visuals going on.
Oh yeah.
Finland.
Yeah. This
Turned it in Finland. Fall of '73. So about the same year. Same time.
Kind of hit around the same time. Yeah, this is just, I don't even ask me to pronounce this. Sarja Kuvaletti, number 7, published by Semic Press in the fall of 1973. This one has black and white interiors. And this book contains the Ghost Rider 1 story and like a spy versus spy story that I researched it. I could not find it. I couldn't find the story. But this one is just gorgeous. And the Sarja, you see the Sarja a lot on the Finnish stuff. Sarja, from my understanding, means comic. So it says Sarja, and then the Kuvaletti. I thought I knew what that meant one point in time, but I don't. But basically, it's almost like them saying, here is our comic kind of title. Or Sarja means comic in Finnish. That's my understanding. This book, super cool. What do you think of this one, John?
I mean, there's a little more distraction going on than the other one. The title kind of runs a little further down, kind of more like the traditional American.
Yeah.
You've got the what looks like a sticker. I don't know if it's a sticker or an emblem over there with the Usia Sarja.
Sarja. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it stands out as a group, but as an individual, it's not my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah, the yellow banner on the top, it's kind of, it's like they gave a lot of weight to the title.
Yes.
And the thing with these damn Finnish books is these ones can be a little hard to find, these Sarjas, for some reason. I've seen people pull them out of Finland. I'm not saying these are rare, but for whatever reason, you see a lot of the other copies, with the exception of some, you will see them a little more than you see this one, a 180 variant. But yeah, this is one that you're gonna have to do a little hunting for this one. This is not one that you see on American eBay very often, if at all. In fact, I'm trying to think the last time I saw this book on an auction site, and I don't think it was eBay. I think it was the Finnish auction site. Which
I haven't seen one sold in the group. I mean, I I watch Ghost Rider. I'm not actively collecting it, but it's one that catches my eye, and I've not seen anybody kind of bring it out in the Facebook group at all.
And this in this title, they also did the Spotlight 5. Yeah, this one's going to be a little harder to find. I wish I would have wrote down the Finnish auction site. My brain is saying Hutu.net, but I can't quite remember. That could be the Danish. But you're going to have to, if you're in America and you're hunting this book, you're going to have to find a source for this one. You're going to have to find one of the guys in the group. You're going to have to ask. You're going to have to possibly go onto the Finnish auction site and do the work yourself on this one. This one's going to be a little more difficult.
Yes, once you kind of get over there, it's tougher.
Yeah,
the language barrier is significantly harder for us to work.
Yeah, the language barrier is a bitch, especially when you're on the auction sites, because some of the foreign auction sites have an English sticker that you can go boom and it'll translate into English for you. But my experience with Chrome, Chrome will automatically translate sites for you.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, the auction sites, it has something to do with the code, but it doesn't always work really well on the auction sites because I think there's a lot going on behind the scenes in the code. It's not like a website. It's not like Chrome is going to a blog, Finnish blog, and just translating it.
Just doesn't work as well.
It just doesn't work as well, and it's a bitch.
Tony really likes the yellow, so
Oh yeah, hey, what's up, dude? I know Repair Tech Tony. He's a good guy. Yeah, this one's you're gonna need help. This is one you're just gonna need help. I don't know what else to say on that. Really cool book. 2 stories in it. You get your Ghost Rider 1 story, black and white. You're going to see a lot of these are black and white. But that's what you get. That's what you get with the forums. A lot of stuff was done in black and white.
All right. So if you like the yellow, this one may stick to you as well.
Oh yeah, this one's going to really turn you on if you
this
like
is the
yellow.
Spain.
Yes. Okay. This is the Spanish Motorista Fantasma number 6. Published by Vertice / Mundi Comics in September 1982. So we're clearly into the Copper Age here. Full color interiors, and this baby is big. It's a magazine format. Curiously enough, though, John, guess what?
What?
This one doesn't contain Ghost Rider 1. It doesn't have the story. It contains Ghost Rider 56 and 57. And my guess is they just thought it would be cool to use the number 1 cover. Now, speaking of this cover, it is a recreation by the legendary Spanish artist Rafael Lopez Espy.
I was looking at it it doesn't look the same.
It's not the same art. It was recreated. It was repurposed. Okay, so for those that do not know this man, know that he is a very well-known and respected Spanish artist. His Marvel recreations are legendary in Spain. This guy is a legend there. In fact, for many Spanish youth, his covers were their first exposure to Bronze and Silver Age Marvels. To a lot of Spanish kids, they don't see the American original as their first exposure. They see these Mundi Vertice recreations as their childhood. Now, let's talk a little bit about Lopez Espy. He started his professional artist career, get this, John, at the ripe old age of 13. Whoa. He was fucking 13. He started his career at Editorial Simbolo. Now, this was in the 50s. Fast forward to the late 60s, when Editorial Vertice got the Marvel license for Spain, it was up to Espy and Enrique. Now, a lot of people remember Enrique. He did a lot of horror stuff here in America as well, all over the world. So it was up to Espy and Enrique to redraw the covers for the publisher, Vertice. The reason was Vertice was publishing these books in a much smaller format. So the original Marvel cover art was way too busy and it just didn't work because they were little tiny digests, right? So they had them redo it. And that is one of the reasons those early Vertice covers, they seem so simple, yet drawn very realistically, but they had to simplify them in order to get them to pop. Now, later when Vertice was more successful, they created the Mundi line of books. Now, this is a Mundi. So the Mundis, it's like they went through extremes, right? Vertice was small. They got to the Mundi line and they blew them up into magazine size. So this allowed Espy a lot more kind of creative freedom to do what he wanted. And sometimes Espy would create brand new artwork that was, just kind of, it wasn't even repurposed. It was more like inspired by the original American. And sometimes Lopez Espy would just take the original artwork and just redo it, but redo it in his own style. Like if you were to look at this ghostwriter's head, you could tell it's almost like ghostwriter's beefier.
Yes, that's the first thing that hit me.
Yep.
Flames are monotone. There's not the red in them.
Yep.
I was originally flipping to the pence just because it hit me as we were talking.
Do you see that little bit of difference?
They blew the Ghost Rider up a bit. It's all a little beefier.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I don't know. In the motorcycle,
a little beefier, all of it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I love Lopez Espy's interpretations. He's a badass. He's a badass.
Well, and this title, Motorista Fantasma.
It's cool, right?
It flows off the tongue. You got the Ghost Rider little letterbox.
Yeah,
this one
cool.
is outstanding.
Would you buy this one, John?
Yes. I listen, they are all the Ghost Rider ones. So it's a great image, but this one, like if you're going to see it, this one just kind of hits you and goes, huh. It's so familiar, but so different.
Yep.
That's why I love just like, well, they changed the background. No, this is visually just, you've got to take it in. Sometimes on the Golden Age show, me and Ben say, looking at a picture is one thing, but when you hold it in your hand and just take it all in, it's just different.
Yeah. Watch, go to the set pick. You'll see how much bigger this book is in comparison to everything else. Yeah. It's magazine size. It's cool. And that's another thing. Because he didn't have to worry about title or any of that shit. Look how big Flamehead is on that bike. It's just fucking huge. Oops, sorry, we're live.
Oh, well. No, you're fine. You're all right.
It's fucking huge.
Yeah, so this one is, yeah.
Yeah, Jamie, I agree.
This is Solo Wookiee's giving his technical opinion, and then the brown makes it pop, and Jamie agrees,
Yeah, that's a really neat one. And now the Spanish Mundi books, this is kind of the neat thing is this is kind of a star of the set, and it's going to be a lot easier to get than the Silver Age Vertice.
Yeah, it's newer.
It's newer. It's from the 80s. You're going to want to go on Spanish eBay. You're going to want to go on Todo Colección. And you will find one. Oftentimes with the Spanish collectors, they're very run focused. So they tend to sell books in lots.
I buy a whole lot of Ghost Rider, though.
Yeah. They tend to sell book in lots. Of course, you're going to have the guy that has the whole run and tries to sell it. But with these ones, because there's always Spanish collectors looking to fill holes in their runs and shit, usually you'll find this in like a 10-book lot or in a 5-book lot or in a 4-book lot or something like that. And it might have some other books that maybe aren't so nice. This one's mine. I kind of lucked out finding it by itself as a single issue. But a lot of people that I know that have this book had to buy it in a lot. But it's not going to be outrageously expensive. And like I said, hit up Spanish eBay, hit up Todo Colección, todocoleccion.net or .com, I forget, and you will find this book.
And I'm betting you'd be able, even if you didn't want them, you could sell the rest of them to an American collector just for the novelty of them.
Probably, because they're really cool. They're all either redrawn by Lopez Espy to look like the American book, or he just says screw it and does his own interpretation, or not even his interpretation. He just does his own work, which cool books, dude. The Mundis are cool.
All right, moving on. This one's a weird one to me, but again, completely different cover, different size, different. A lot going on. I'm gonna go to set pick just to show because it looks so weird. It's scrunched in, but that is what it is.
Yep, it's small. See how small it is? This is the smallest one of the set. Watch, go on to me real quick, John.
Onto what?
Come
Oh,
on
onto you. Yeah, sorry.
onto my.
Oh, hold on, let me get that out of there.
So I have a normal bag and board here, and look how much smaller that is. But not only that, it is a very weird small. See how it's kind of long and skinny? Yeah, this book, these Mac books freak people out sometimes. Okay, so let's go into it. Let's go back to the slide.
There we go. All right,
okay.
Here we go.
This is the Mexican Mac division Historietas. Superheroes Presenta, number 7, published by Editorial Mac División on January of 1977. So it's a little bit later in the Bronze Age. Full color interiors. This book contains Ghost Rider 1, and that's it. Now, we talked about how small the format size is. Do you want me to go into why they were so small at this point in time?
I don't want to do those again.
No. This is interesting, though.
All right.
This is interesting. Well, we might have people that don't know, John. You're being selfish.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so the reason these Macs are so small is that Mexico in the late 70s and early 80s, all the imported paper was hitting astronomical prices. The importation of paper could not meet Mexican demand. That meant that books, magazines, textbooks, comics, you name it, anything that used paper, it was a crazy time for publishing it in this country because the importation of it was just not that. I mean, it just was not cheap. It was extremely expensive because they couldn't meet demand. It's around that time that Navarro was making colibris. This is why you see all those freaky little tiny formats that Navarro was doing. So they were doing all those nutty little freaky formats. Now, Mac was struggling like every other publisher in Mexico at this time to deal with the paper issue. So these later Macs are definitely smaller, and that's when they made them these funky, not quite digest-sized, but tall and whatever. This book is going to be really freaking tough to find, okay? I learned something recently, John, that sort of blew my mind.
All right.
Okay. Apparently, later in Mac's publication history, not only did they have a paper problem, but they were changing their focus. Mac around this time, in the late 70s, was getting more into wrestling, martial arts, and athletic type content. And they were moving away from superheroes. In fact, the local Mexican experts that I've talked to that talk about this title, Superheroes Presenta, they think print runs were as low as between 5 and 7K for an average issue of this run.
Wow.
5 or 7K. That's teeny tiny for a country like Mexico. So I'm even going to guess that there were newsstands in Mexico that never even got these issues. That's crazy to me. And I asked my guy, I was like, really that small? And he's like, that's what we think. Because paper was at such a premium that the publishers only wanted to print shit that was popular, right? And so for whatever reason, superheroes were just kind of getting edged out by martial arts and wrestling. He was saying they did a lot of luchadora stuff.
Oh yeah,
and stuff like that. And that's why all the books in this title. So this title is Superheroes Presenta, right? They did a whole bunch of Marvel, like almost like one shots of their first issue. They did Hero for Hire 1. They did Ghost Rider 1. They did Son of Satan 1. They did what was the other one? They did Defenders 1. They did Warlock 1. They did all these Marvel number 1s from the Bronze Age, but that's it. They didn't do subsequent issues. And it's like it's like the publisher just lost its focus on its Marvel license. And to be honest, they lost the license. And the Marvel license actually went over to Navarro for a little while. That's why you see, which normally we're used to seeing Navarros as DCs, right? But then you find Hulk in later Navarros. You find Conan and later Navarros and shit. And it's because Mac just did away with the license. This book is a nightmare. If you're building this set, this book is going to give you nightmares, and you're going to be like a little baby crying in bed. You're going to have all the other issues, and you're going to be, Mommy, I want that Mexican Ghost Rider 1. But you're not going to fucking get it because it is hard to find, just like Robert Fordham said. Eternals #1. Yes. Yes, 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 Robert. So it's weird that this run had all these really cool Marvel Bronze Age #1s, but they're practically impossible to find. And, you know, this book, this is one of the jewels of my foreign collection, because in the entire time I've been doing this, I think I've seen 3.
Well, and it's interesting because this book wants to look great, but I think it got squished in the artwork and it just looks off.
It looks odd. Look at the bottom. Look at all that.
They expanded it like an inch. Instead of like doing something with the art, they just said, well, we'll carry this color down.
It's weird, right?
And this Ghost Rider just looks scrunched in there, and the title is just got too much action. It wants to work if you look at the colors, but
it doesn't quite.
It doesn't work great.
And it's that weird, funky format that Pobrecitos at
Amen, JJ Maxwell. Amen.
Yeah. There's a lot of sets that you'll get. You know, all the books in them. A lot of the books in them are doable. And then you run across that one nightmare. It's like the Filipino 300 and the Filipino 300 set. You know, there's just that one book that just you want to blow your brains out. Now, yeah, and you know what, Robert said that too. Yeah, you know, I don't want to be discouraging. I don't. I want to be positive. You can't find it. Like I said, I've seen this book for sale 2 other times.
Hey, if you're going to collect foreigns, you got to prepare to wait.
Yeah. Patience.
And sometimes books you didn't think you'll see come to you, and you get a deal, or somebody knows you're looking and you'll get them. But I'm just saying, you don't come to foreigns for instant gratification.
No.
You end up here because you're hardcore on comics. You've bought everything you want, and you're like, bring some more pain.
Yeah.
How can I make collecting comics harder?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right, Solo.
Man, Anthony, you know freaking everything. I'm used to seeing you over in Golden Age, but man, you're right. Kaliman is
Kaliman's huge. Kaliman, there was a few others.
What is the other one? The not Fantisma,
Fantomas.
Fantomas.
You got Fantomas, you got Kaliman, and then a lot of people don't realize this, but luchadors were huge. There's a lot of photo luchador comics. You know, the Mexican market was massive. There was so much, and you know, then you have all the Mexican horror stuff that's competing with the kids that you know the kids want. Yeah, this was just, you know, that's the thing. You're going to come to the foreign world. You're coming into a part of the pool that's deep, dark, and you want to have friends there with you, because if you're not good at swimming, you can drown. And you'll need some help. And, you know, this is why we say all the time, John, to, you know, this is about building connections and building networks for yourself. It's not like American collecting where you got the money, you go to eBay, or you wait for a Comic Connect auction, or you go to Metropolis. You're exactly right, John. That instant gratification, you're not going to get it here. But that's what makes it so goddamn freaking addicting. Because when you do find that book, when I found this book, I stared at it like a fiend. And I went, oh my God, I finally have one. Because I've been searching for one forever. And it wasn't even that expensive, dude. I think I bought it for like $150.
That's not bad.
I couldn't buy it now fast enough. I got it off American eBay, believe it or not.
It happens. You find deals.
Yeah, so, you know, rare foreigns will hit American eBay, but you got to be crazy. You know, like I tell people this story all the time too. Tim Bildhauser will be searching eBay at 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning for stuff because he knows that foreign guys in Greece or in the Philippines or someplace, that's the time they're posting the shit, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just, you know, I don't know. We can talk all day for that. We can move on to another one.
On to the next one. Denmark.
Denmark, and this is a great book.
Oh, wait. That's not the right cover.
Uh-oh, did you fuck up, John?
Did I do what? Huh. Oh, wait. It's a flip book.
Yes. This is a super cool book. This is the Danish Vampire number 10, published by Enterprise AS in October of 1973. That's pretty close, I think, to the American original.
Yeah, it's the cover date and the published date are close, so I'm betting it's a few months apart.
The interiors of this book are black and white, and it contains Werewolf by Night 8, Nightmare 10, Beware 10, Strange Tales 9, and of course, Ghost Rider 1. Now, these Vampire issues have a double cover format, with one issue cover being on the front and one on the back. Now, the leading cover is Werewolf by Night 8, and the back cover is
I think all of them have Werewolf by Night in front.
Do they all or not? See, I can't remember that.
All of them that I have Werewolf in front. I've got probably 75% of the run.
Interesting. So it was like, Werewolf by Night was like their primary, and then they just filled them through in the back.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, this vampire run was a little bit controversial. I'm ready to take you on a ride through history, John. Do you want to go with me?
This one I would love to. I enjoy this set. This one catches my eye.
Okay. So, before we get to these particular, let's talk a little bit about something. Now, we know that Warren Publishing avoided the Comics Code Authority because it was a magazine and it was sold on magazine racks, not comic racks. So, you had Warren publish all the Warren books, Vampirella, you name it, Heavy Metal and others. They not only published their own horror and sci-fi. Yes. So, I lost myself in my notes here. Okay. So, Warren published not only horror and sci-fi, but a lot of people don't realize this, but they pulled a lot of European art and stories from overseas and pulled them over here to great success. So, with the explosive success of Warren and Heavy Metal and other more adult fare here in America in the early 70s, it makes sense that some foreign publishers would notice that, right? Yeah. So a kind of reverse pollination of horror happened here. Now, I love that. What's reverse pollination of horror? That means America was taking horror from Europe, bringing it here, and a lot of the American stuff got pulled back to Europe. So cue guys like this guy in Denmark. His name is Uno Kruger. He was an editor at Enterprise, and Uno Kruger saw the potential of these horror books. In 1972, he started a book called Gru. It was published based on material from Warren. So they did Vampirella, at the top of my head, I'm trying to think Creepy, all that shit. So they did a lot of that stuff. But soon, not too long after that, Uno noticed Marvel horror. And he said, hey, I think I want that stuff. So titles like Vampire and Dracula and others followed. Now, this material was interspersed with, guess what? Adult fumetti from Italy. Now, what do we know about the adult fumetti from Italy? Fumetti means comics. The adult fumetti from Italy was hardcore. We're talking naked women being chopped up into pieces. Okay, so can we see that serial killer back cover, John?
Yeah, hold on.
This is in this run, by the way.
This is the last issue of the run. I'm going to cover up the naughty bits.
Oh, man.
But notice, the Ghost Rider's here.
Yeah, he's right there.
And there's a lady being chopped up.
And thrown into the fire. It looks like he gave her a good portrait first, though.
Yeah. I'm going to throw you one other one that was the prior issue in the run. Also covered up some naughty bits.
Oh, yeah. That's Italian fumetti right there, man.
Yeah.
Italian horror fumetti.
I think the other ones prior to that, I'm going to check number 14, were not as they stuck with the Marvel. Oh, this one, yeah, not as crazy. So 14 was still a Marvel cover.
Yeah, so
15 and 16, they went off the rails, my friend, off the rails.
Yeah, that Uno Kruger guy just was taking horror from all different places and just throwing them in together. Because why? There's no comics code, so anything goes, right? So, not long after Uno was doing that at Enterprise, other publications in Denmark were getting in on the action. Williams Forlag and some of the others were starting to saturate the Danish market with horror, much of it which was explicit. And, that's what you're going to get when you get Italian horror fumetti. So this caused a lot of great debate in Denmark and on newspapers and TV news programs. And they were like, what are we doing to our youth? Just loops to the side. Oh, he's checking out. The exhaust pipes.
You'll get used to Solo Wookie. He is a big fanatic of the engineering of everything.
Yeah, we'll have to go back and
show him a Schomburg, and he'll be lost for days.
Interesting. Okay, so Uno Kruger, do you think he gave a fuck what those people said about having all that horror in there? No, he didn't. In fact, this guy Uno Kruger he's kind of become my hero as I found out more about him. He thought it would be funny to take popular politicians and put their faces on characters from Dracula, just for fun. This is how he was described. Uno Kruger was known as being a rather anarchistic post-hippie with a flair for the extreme. Also about Uno Kruger, apparently he always brought his giant dog into the office, which had a habit of terrifying his colleagues.
I'm sure.
This dude was a rebel, and eventually he pissed off the wrong people at Enterprise. He ended up getting fired in 1976, and he led a life of almost a recluse. He was still translating books and doing paintings, but he was out of the public spotlight. He died in 2006 at 60 years old, but Kruger is credited with introducing a lot of classic American comics to a Danish audience, such as Will Eisner's Spirit, Flash Gordon, Conan the Barbarian. He did those at Siri Magazasinet, I don't know, in 69, 76 or something like that. But he was also bringing in underground comics from greats like Robert Crumb to Gilbert Shelton's Fabulous Fury Freak Brothers. He was a kind of a cool guy. Do you have that picture that I sent you, John, of that guy?
I didn't do that one. Sorry.
Oh, you didn't do it? Yeah, he's apparently he's really loved and stuff in Denmark, because without him, these books would not exist. And what do you think of these books? I love them.
Oh, these are ones that caught my attention early, and I'd buy any of them that come up. I've got a small stack of them, so
you're going to end up with the whole run, probably, huh?
I don't know. I if they come up, I will. I've got probably 10 issues, so maybe.
I love the white with the vampire in red. It's just so contrasty. It's awesome.
They've got a style.
Yeah, the style that they chose to use was, I love it. This is one of my favorite. This one probably with the Spanish Mundi are probably my favorite looking of all of them.
Yeah,
for sure. And these aren't going to be too hard to find. According to what I heard, the rumored print runs are assumed to be somewhere between 10 and 20,000. Remember, the Nordic countries aren't big.
Not quite as popular as the early or the late issues. It's in the middle of the run, so it's probably more manageable.
Yeah. It's not massive, but realistically, I'm sure a lot of these books survived. I will say that when you have these Danish books with a little cut on the corner, some of these have a little cut, and a lot of American collectors have just seen it and assumed it was not what it was. But what it is, they're returns.
Yeah.
So when the Danish books were returned to the publisher because they weren't sold on the stands, and the public and the sellers, the retailers, were getting the credit back, they cut them in that corner so that they couldn't be resold or they could only be resold in aftermarkets and whatnot. So essentially, on the Danish market, if you find one with a cut corner, don't. And I'm saying this just for sellers that aren't Danish. If you got someone that's got a book and it's really nice condition, but it's got a cut, because sometimes you'll find some that are beautiful, but they're cut on a corner, that's a return. That's as bad almost in the Danish market's mind of, having the cover half ripped, or, it's not as collectible. CG, if you tried to slab it, they would probably just dock you in grade. But you want to find one that doesn't have a cut in the corner. So if you find a seller trying to sell you one with a cut, tell them that I want the book, but I'm not going to pay retail for it. That's a return.
I've seen a few American, not often, but I've seen some American Silver Age that did that. But I found it becomes more popular because it's way more interesting to American collector than the third of a cover torn off.
That's true. I mean, it doesn't destroy the book.
Don't pay a premium, but I think this is where a cultural difference works in our favor of, I don't love it, but I hate it less than other things you could have done.
That's true. Yeah, because the Italians did this thing where they instead of ripping the covers off, they ruined them by putting ink all over the top, and the ink just drips all over the front of the Italian books. So, each publisher each country and each publisher had a different way of doing their returns. But, cool book. I love this book. And I don't currently have one, John, so if you've got an extra, you need to save it. I think
we were talking two different things, but I'll look. I had the number one, but you want this one, so I'll have to look on that one.
Yeah, I've got the Spotlight.
All right, so these are all the cover set. We're going to give you a few bonus books that contain the story, but not the cover. So we're gonna rapid fire these guys for you, but just to show you.
Okay. This is the Australian Ghostwriter 1, published by Jaffa in 1977. This book is a magazine format size, so it's
big magazine, not even magazine, big magazine.
Yeah, big. Black and white interiors, and it contains Ghostwriter 1, 2, and 3. And I mean, I like the Ghostwriter 2 cover. I've always loved that with kind of Satan coming out of the background. And
it's not a bad cover.
It's not bad at all. This one's colored a lot differently from the American. It's like
a lot of greens.
A lot of greens and yellows in this one. Yaffas are going to be tough to find. If what's weird about the Australian stuff is I always have seemed to think that the Australian mutants are easier to find, the easier Marvels to find. This is from Australia, JJ.
I think he's asking the last one was Denmark.
Oh, Denmark, the Danish.
Yeah,
we talked so long. I thought I said Danish. Did I not?
We jumped to the dual shot, so that's why.
Oh, okay. That was Danish. These Aussie Yaffas can be hard to find. Ask Robert.
The Yaffas are pretty though.
They're pretty. They're cool. I like how big they are. You're gonna wait a while if you want this book, but you will find it.
And you'll pay a shit ton in shipping.
You'll pay a shit ton in shipping. Australia, man, they freaking hose you in shipping.
Australia and Japan are the worst.
So you're gonna pay a lot of money, and because it's oversized, it's an even bigger package. Yeah. So, but I like it. I just haven't ran across one. I think if I ran across one, I would buy it if it was a decent price.
Yeah, it's a pretty book.
Yeah, it is a pretty book.
All right. The other one, strangely enough, also uses the same cover.
Yep. This is the French Estranges Aventures. I tried saying French on our Star Wars show. People were laughing me at it. Estranges Aventures. I don't know. Number 44. Oh, yeah. Aventure. 44. Published by Artima in 1975. Black and white interiors. Digest-sized format. So these are tiny little digest books. It contains Ghostwriter 1 through 4. And these are funny little books, too. They call them, do you see on the bottom there, it says Pocket? Comics Pocket. So I think these were kind of meant for kids to kind of like take around with them, throw them in their backpack or throw them in their pocket. So they're thick, so they have a lot of stories, but they're small. And for whatever reason, some of these Ardette books, they're hard to find on French eBay, dude. I've been looking for the Tomb of Dracula 1, Ardette, Artima book for years, and I cannot find the damn book. So if we have any French people that any of our French collector friends that see this and go, oh, I know where one of those is, please contact me, because it's driving me nuts. I just am not seeing. So it's like this is one of those weird ones where you will see issues of these pocket Ardette books, like certain issues, there'll be 5 or 10 copies on eBay all day long. And then some other issues just never pop up. I don't understand why. Now, this one, I haven't really looked for it, so I couldn't tell you. So I'm going to tell you, you as a collector to, put a alert in French eBay, just like you would in American eBay. Throw an alert in there for this title if you're looking for it, and maybe one will pop up. But don't be surprised if it's a little harder than you might think.
All right. Time for one oddity. We're going to do one oddity because we like to give you something off the beaten path.
Well, it's like they're two.
Well, all right. Twofer?
It's a twofer.
All right.
You're like, what the hell is this? What is it? That looks like Dracula and Planet of the Apes, right? These are Newton's. Newton Tales of Horror Dracula 6, which has their Tomb of Dracula 7 cover, and that was published on October of 1975. And Planet of the Apes 9, which is basically the Planet of the Apes 7 cover, and this was published by Newton in September of 1975. But what makes these books so special, will you go to me, John?
Yeah.
If you're building this set, why do you want these just look like random Newton Australian books? There's your Dracula. Now, this did have a swap card. My issue does not have the damn swap card, so it's incomplete. The swap cards are, finding the books with the swap cards are hard. But finding them with posters ain't no joke either. Look at that, John.
That's a nice, giant, big old poster, too.
Yep. It's got the Ghost Rider poster in there. So when I found out about this, I said, I got to have it. I got to have the issue. I got to have it with the poster. And as far as our research is concerned, I think it only appeared in these 2 books. So it only appeared in this Dracula, and it only appeared in this Planet of the Apes, which is this one.
I'd almost buy those just as standalones because that would be cool wall art.
Yeah, but I couldn't rip the poster out, I don't know if I could.
Yeah, depends on what the book looks like.
Yeah, I guess if it's trashed, but I can't bring myself to rip them out. You can find the posters sold individually on Australia eBay sometimes. I think you're right. It might be kind of fun to like maybe get another copy of this, a nicer one, and then take the old copy and just go ahead and take the poster out. But that makes me sort of sad because what if another Ghost Rider set builder would need it?
I know.
Maybe I'm crazy.
Go either way on that.
Yeah. And this set's not real big, I wanted a set that was a little easier for us. And
yeah, we've got short little attention spans after Star Wars.
Yeah. Oh, look, Comic Garage is saying there's a UK weekly. I'm not sure. I don't know. Does it use cover Comic Garage? Because I must have missed it.
Uh-oh.
Oh, and oh yeah, let me say this as a caveat. There are other Ghost Rider ones in books that don't use cover.
Yeah, we skipped a few because
we went ahead and there was a few more. Particularly
a lot more modern issues too. There's the Russian. There's a Spanish reprint we talked about. The Spanish reprint's beautiful, but we just didn't want to go there. It's more from what, the 90s or 2000s?
It's early 2000. No, it's late 90s, I think, or early 2000s.
It was a beautiful book, but
it's beautiful.
You can find a story elsewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Russian one is killer.
Yeah.
And that's modern, for sure. Yeah, they were just modern.
We didn't go beyond 85 on this one, just because, it gets printed a lot.
Yeah. Maybe we can open ourselves up to questions.
Yeah. Anybody got anything they want to throw at us for our randomness that we talk about all the time? And,
Oh, yeah, Comic Garage said no. Yeah, if it didn't use the cover, I just was like, you know what, we could be here all night. On some books, I like to go into more detail on that, but I find, I mean, I don't know about you, John, but I find as we go more through the sets, I like to show a few of them, but I'm not going to go through all.
No, we could be here all night, and nobody wants to see all the non-cover books because we're a cover society. We're going to slap them, and not read them anyways.
Yeah, for the most part. So
I say that jokingly. I know we read them, but just
yeah. Yeah. So if anyone has any questions,
I'm gonna show off a book because damn it, I got time, and I love
let's do it.
Everybody else hates it, but my friend Inigo sent me some Crow books, and I just love this.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
I like graphic metal foil.
That's a good one, dude.
And either freaking love it for being glorious or you hate it for being tacky, but it's
Dark Side. It says Dark Side on there.
It does reprint the original story with some bonus kind of material and sketches, so I think it's like a premiere edition of the Italian. So you're welcome, guys.
That is beautiful. Oh, you know what? I have something beautiful to show.
We talked about the pence, JJ. You joined a little late, but we did talk about it.
I have something very beautiful to show as well, John.
All right, go ahead. Uh-oh. He's going to the wall. He's going to the wall.
This one's for Solo Wookiee.
Uh-oh.
Now, this book took a while. I had to use a bank transfer. I couldn't use PayPal. I mean, it was hard to get. This is a file copy from the translator of Flying Carpet, Basit El Ra. Now, at the time, I don't remember if this is a Basit El Ra book, but it is definitely an Arabic Hulk. Okay. Now, the spine is right there. So it's backwards. So it's read backwards in what we're normally used to reading in English. So the spine is on the right, and it's beautiful. You don't see Arabic books like this.
No.
They're always trashed. Okay. This book is just stunning. It's full color. And then it hits the spot color like we see with some Arabics. And it goes. But the reason I bought this book was for this.
Oh, look at that.
Back cover classic Chaikin art. It is gorgeous. And I build the Star Wars 1 set, and I promise you when we get to this, John, we will be talking about this book. It is, when I saw it, I was like, because I'd known about it for a while. I'd never known a way to get to one. And thankfully, I found a connection through one of my buddies, one of my close friends. My buddy Scott McManus helped me source it. And if you're a Star Wars fiend, this thing should make your blood temperature rise. Because
the purple is intense too.
Yeah, I mean, I just love the way that the publisher handled the artwork. And I love Arabics. I love the funkiness of the spine, on the right and reading it backwards. And I tell people all the time, what happened to Superman's S? It turned into a 5.
That's terrible. All right.
Anyway.
We appreciate you all for watching. We're going to call it a night. And been a fun show. Glad we could do it live. See a few of you guys we don't always see. Again, thanks to Comic Book Invest for all their great support and help. And check them out for all your daily comic book content and free information. We'll see you guys again very, very soon.
Thanks, guys.
I don't even know what we're doing next. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, maybe I kind of want to do an interview show. There's a lot of really cool guys. I want to interview that Greek guy, Vasilis, the Greek translator. I mean, I want to change it up. I don't want us to just do sets.
We'll do something. Something good.
We'll do something.
All right, gentlemen. We'll see you all later.
Bye, guys.